Let's head to the tropics. Guess what, folks? We have a new tropical storm. If you took yesterday off, you were sleeping around, well, you didn't notice that we had Jerry pop up. So Tropical Storm Jerry is out there. The good news is it looks like we're going to have limited land interaction, but the islands, we need to watch you very closely. That's going to be the close call. So across the Atlantic Basin, it's not just Jerry. We do have a spot that's closer to home. 10% chance of development in the Bay of Campeche, which is the southern Gulf. That's tracking towards Mexico. So heavy rain anticipated for them, not an issue for the U.S. As we look at Jerry, our actual storm that's on the board, it looks a little anemic this morning. Yesterday, yeah, exactly, and it's the dry air. Yeah. Yesterday, it looked better on satellite. The whole presence of dry air and some wind shear is going to be a glass ceiling in terms of intensity. But I will say the spread on the intensity forecast is interesting, and we'll get to it. But first, I want to show you the cone because I know it's the first thing you want to know. How are we looking for the islands? How are we looking for Bermuda? By the way, the East Coast is not a contender, so we're fine there. But we're still calling for this to become Hurricane Jerry, passing northeast of the islands. But that doesn't mean that you won't feel impacts across the islands. You don't need a landfall to feel impacts.
No, definitely not. I mean, we've seen that time and time again with Imelda and Umberto. It was over in Bermuda, but we still had significant wave energy along the Atlantic coast. There's one little outlier that wants to take this closer to the United States and closer to the Bahamas. You can basically write that one off.
Yeah, the consensus is very clear, and it's actually favorable for Bermuda.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what we've got going on is we have this big dip in the jet stream that's coming off the United States coast. This has almost been a copy-paste type of format we've had with storms this year, and that's acting as a nice shield for the Atlantic coast, and then that ridge of high pressure is going to be dragging this thing to the north and also kind of cutting it off before it even reaches Bermuda. So Bermuda, you've been close so many different times yet this hurricane season, but it does seem like this one will make a south pass, and in that general vicinity of where that center of circulation would be, it actually puts you on a better end to not see as significant of an impact as you would if this thing were to pass off towards your west, let's say.
The only thing that's tricky with Jerry is the intensity forecast. And we find that often. Track is easier to nail than intensity. And look at the spread here. I mean, we have computer models that keep this as a tropical storm, and we have computer models that ramp it up to a Cat 3. That's a big difference. You're talking about 60-mile-per-hour winds, 115. So a big spread is still possible. But again, with this looking like it's going to stay in open water, the fringe impacts can be managed. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be difficult, but without this making a direct landfall, most likely, at least puts us in a more favorable position.